Oh dear.
Oh, you're in the show.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for your
Hi,
patience.
everyone.
We've had a few technical issues. Things have changed since last time we went live together. So we just assumed it would be the same as last time, and it's not. But never mind, we're here now. I'm Justine Warwick, makeup artist, and this is Leanne Perilly, also makeup artist. Together we form the Beauty Club, which we have created to put together a community of like-minded people that all love makeup and everything to do with beauty. So what we wanted to do this evening was offer the opportunity to answer any makeup related questions that you might have to help you get the most out of your makeup. So we're asking you to, if you can, let us say hello if you come online. We'd love to hear from you. It's always nice to know that there are people watching. And also, hi Amy, how are you? Lovely to see you. So if there's any questions, then please just pop them in the comment. I am the only one that can see the comments, so I'll keep track of that. But we do have some questions that were raised when we ran our recent Instagram and Facebook competition. So we'll have plenty to talk about, but anything that you want help with, advice, recommendations, then just fire those questions at us. You got anything?
Yeah, I was just going to say that I'm just telling Sharon that we're live now. I can see the comments actually, so
okay.
That's always a bonus. So yeah, we're going to go over some of the comments that you've asked us before, and share the live with your friends so everyone can join in. So I just want to have some fun, have some chat, and yeah, give you loads of tips.
Wine. Because we've done this on a Saturday morning before, and it was before wine o'clock, so we thought, why not do a live in the evening when it's all nice and relaxing, and we could just have a chat and a drink, which is it's a nice thing to do in the evening at the end of the day. So I hope you've all had a good day today. I posted a live earlier actually, Leanne, just to promote this, and a couple of questions were coming up then as well. So I'm sure people have got lots of questions.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi,
thank you for joining.
Lovely. Yep.
So, really well.
So we ran a competition, didn't we, on Instagram, just so people could say what issues they have with makeup, and then the lucky winner, a lovely lady called Karen, won a one-to-one sort of online makeup lesson with us, which we did last week. Hi Sharon, sorry if you've had problems finding us. We went on a little bit late because we had some technical issues, but we're here now, so I hope you've got the wine at the ready. Amy's already come up with a question. That's lovely. Things I struggle with: keeping my foundation on all day, covering up my red cheeks, and getting my eyeliner equal. But other than that, it's all good. But I did Amy's makeup last May at Greenwood's, and it was just really, really lovely. Really lovely day. She looked beautiful. So this is really these are really common issues, aren't they, Leanne, that we come up with?
Yeah, thanks for those. They're brilliant questions, Amy. Yeah, really common questions. So I'm sure most people will benefit from hearing the answers to those. So, what should we start with? Should we start with keeping foundation today?
Yeah, I would say maybe even before you get to the foundation is priming your skin, because that is key to keeping your foundation on, isn't it? So I don't know if you use a primer at the moment, Amy, but if you find that your makeup's not lasting, then if you want to stick to the formula that you've got, then it's worthwhile looking at a primer that you can put on underneath your foundation. It just goes on like a light layer, a bit like moisturizer. You put that on all over, but you can also get primers that are designed to reduce the redness in your skin. Smashbox do a really good one. It's actually green. We've talked about, here's one. Oh, look, it's like a green screen.
It's gone a bit funny, but
yeah. That's
what is doing that? It's like
called reduced redness, isn't it? And you can't see What else can we put in front of the screen to see if it goes green screen? But that's actually lovely, isn't it, that formulation?
If this keeps happening, then what we'll do is we'll put pictures in the comments so you can have a look afterwards at what we're recommending. But yeah, the one that you can't see is a Smashbox photo finish reduced redness. So it's got a lovely texture to it. It's really smoothing, and it is green, but don't be worrying about the green because it goes kind of transparent when it's on the skin. So you can actually wear it without foundation. So if you do suffer with red cheeks, yeah, we're doing a Harry Potter.
Can you put a bit of that on the back of your hand, Leanne, so that they can see? Because hopefully that'll be interesting if that goes. Oh, there you go.
There we go. So yes, I'm just going to. So yeah, it looks quite green, but when you actually blend it in, it actually goes transparent. So don't go crazy with it. Just do a small amount. Can you see? And it's blending with my skin tone. But what it's brilliant for is just toning down any kind of redness that you can see. You can't see any of green at all. And it's brilliant. It just calms the skin down as well. So even in this warm weather, and Sharon, yeah, I've been using a primer every day just to stop my makeup from slipping off, and it's really been helping to keep it on. So we love that Smashbox one, but Smashbox do great primers, great range of primers.
I also really like, I'm using the MAC, there's a MAC one that has got a factor 50 and it's called Prep and Prime. It's thicker consistency, but I think that that's a really good primer to use in hot weathers. It really grabs hold of the makeup, and it's also quite handy to have a I've got a little MAC Fix Plus. I've got my kit next to me, so I'm going to keep diving in and out. So if I disappear, that's where I'm going. And it's going to be the last one that I come to.
The Fix Plus is a brilliant one for hot weather as well, isn't it? And these are
this might be good for you, Sharon. You can get something similar. This is so it's called Fix Plus. I don't use it as a setting spray, but you I'm going to do it now, live demonstration. You can spritz it all over your face. It's really fine mist. Don't get it in your mouth. It tastes very nice. And then it won't interfere with your makeup, but it's really nice and cooling. So I use that quite a lot on the brides or the bridal party, you know, if they're feeling a bit stressed and it's all getting a bit hot, because it won't affect your makeup. But you can get mini ones of those that you could carry around with you and just have a little freshen up every so often. You got anything to add to that, Leanne?
No, I was just going to say we rely heavily on those, the primer and the fixing spray or setting spray. We rely on those heavily, like Justine said, when we're doing wedding makeup, especially in the summer, because so that the makeup stays put. And all our bridal parties say the makeup was as perfect last thing at night, and when they've been dancing and it's even hot weather as it is when it first went on. So the challenge, we really trust these products, don't we?
Yeah, we do. And I mean, this is inexpensive. I think it's about £6 or £7. Lasts ages. By NYX, which you can get in Boots. Amy, I seem to remember you like quite a matte finish to your makeup. So they do a matte finish one and a dewy finish, but that is again, like I've demonstrated with the MAC Fix Plus, it's a similar kind of thing, and you can use this over the top of powder or instead of powder if you don't like that powdery look. So I think, Amy, go to make your makeup last longer, it's definitely about finding a primer, thin layers of foundation that you build up rather than one thick layer, and then you can finish with a setting spray, and hopefully just adding those couple of products into your routine will help. If not, make sure that you get a long-lasting formulation of foundation if that's the sort of thing that you're after. Estee Lauder Double Wear, I think you can't go wrong with. I know you like quite full coverage foundation, Amy, and I think that would be a good one for you. It's a bit more of an investment, but I honestly think it's one of the best ones, one of the best selling foundations actually. So definitely try and get a sample of that. So what's Sharon saying need to invest and maybe bulk buy. Yeah, we bulk buy these, really, Anne. We love them.
Yeah, brilliant. We get through those, so many of those. I mean, I've got a longer wear foundation on tonight, but they don't have to feel kind of thick or heavy, particularly if you apply them with, Justine and I like the Real Techniques brushes to apply foundation. So it's quite, it's kind of fluffy but firm, and we can do buffing action, and this really ensures that your makeup will look flawless but also stay on, you know, longer than if you're perhaps putting it on fingers. And we love the finish that we get with that, and I say it will make it last longer. So even long wear foundations, do you think, Justine, that even you can put a light layer on, can't you? It doesn't have to be heavy.
It doesn't. I mean, there's loads of different formulations. I find they tend to be maybe a bit thicker. Maybe that's part of why they stay on longer. But Sharon, when you were saying that, you know, the makeup's melting off, I think sometimes it is about going for a lighter formulation. And then if it does tend to be coming off, it doesn't look quite as obvious because it was quite a sheer coverage to begin with. But I think powders can help with that, or even maybe a powder foundation might be better, because some of them that you can get, you can carry around in a compact. I know Bare Minerals do one, a ready-to-wear formulation, so then you can carry that around and you can always just buff over. I know it's not ideal because we're not used to having such hot weather in this this country, are we? We're used to it more when we go on holiday, and then maybe we don't wear as much makeup. But when you're going to work and you feel like you need to be presented with a full face of makeup on, I know it is quite difficult. So, yeah, thank you for those questions. Jackie Doherty, is there an eyeliner which stays put? I have overhanging eyelids and often end up with a duplicate line on my eyelid eventually. This is so common. I used to have this as well.
Just talking about bringing in some of the other questions, because Nicola's asking, can you recommend a base one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, mine is dark and shadowy and make me look tired. Okay, so the base for eyelids, this is a good question. It does tie in with getting your eyeliner or eye products to stay on really well. So if you're, which is a really common thing, the skin on the eyelid is quite oily for most people, and this is what makes whatever shape of your eyelid, it's what makes the eye makeup slip off and smudge and crease and things like that. So and something, I mean, I use this pretty much every day. If I'm wearing eyeliner, eyeshadow, I wear an eyelid primer. So ones I've got the MAC Prep and Prime 24-hour extend base is really good, isn't it, Justine?
Yeah, I've got it here. It's my favourite. I use this as well. It has no colour to it, so it is just a base. So if you have discoloration to the eyelids, you might want to use something slightly different with a texture like a paint pot, I would say. What do you think, Leanne?
Yeah, MAC they're called paint pots by MAC, and a lot of them are skin coloured and they're matte. One I probably prefer, again, it's a Smashbox product. I haven't got one here. I used to use it, and it's got a skin tint. They've got different, I think they've got light, medium, dark, probably pale as well. So it's actually got a bit of skin tint in it. So if you've got dark or shadowy eyelids, then it will smooth and brighten up the eyelid before you start putting on your eye makeup. So I'll put that in the comments as well, but that's a Smashbox lid primer, it's called. You can get that from online from Boots, or larger Boots store, but it's a really, really nice one, and it's quite nice and light, so it doesn't feel heavy. It's weightless on the eyelid.
Because the MAC paint pot, this is one here, that is thicker. You have to sort of warm the product up a little bit before you you put it on. It can be used on its own or as an eye base. But what I would say is, if everyone knows that I'm a fan of Pixie Woo, but Sam and Nick Chapman, if you ever follow those, they've got naturally quite dark eyelids, and actually when they've got the rest of their makeup on, it can just look like they've got a really natural shade of eyeshadow on. So it's not always about correcting it, because sometimes we're just trying to mimic something that people already have. So Amy, for example, with the redness in your cheeks, even though you can tone it down, it might just mean that you don't need as more blusher as someone else would, because we're trying to get that rosy glow to our cheeks.
Yeah, if you have got rosy cheeks, I tend to steer clear of pinky based blushers. You might not need a blusher at all, like Justine says. Maybe stick with bronzers, just to balance out the the color in the skin. So you might not even want to use a pink, a blusher, or definitely not a pinky based blusher. Justine's right. Yeah, Sam and Nick Chapman, they've actually got kind of a contoured look to their eye naturally, haven't they? Which we're trying to achieve.
Well, one of them said that they would all, when they used to work in MAC, people always used to come up and say, "Oh, I love that shadow you've got on their eyes," and they were like, "That's my natural eye, my lid." So it's not all about covering it up. Let's carry on with the eye base, because there is also what you'll find when you put an eye base on, then it will stop your eye makeup moving, and that's typical. If you take the eye base all the way up to the brow, then if you have got eyeliner here, you'll stop getting the imprint up here, which I know what you're talking about because I did used to get that. So you might find if you get a primer and just use your existing eyeliner, then that will solve the problem. But if not, there are some long wear formulations out there of eyeliner. I particularly like the NARS one, which I haven't got here. It's my own personal one, but that is quite a creamy consistency, but it does stay put. And Estee Lauder as well, they used to do some really nice long wear pencils.
Their double wear eye pencils are brilliant, aren't they, by Estee Lauder? So they stay on really well. And MAC do a pro long wear. So you'll find a lot of brands look for the, they say long wear formula, and they're slightly dry. So they've just got less oils in. So the way that a product stays on is that it has less oil in it. They like to tell you there's something really magical, but it's not. It's just, it's quite simply there's not as much oil in it. So yeah, you can get those formulas to make it stay on as well. Another thing that we show a lot is the powder eyeliner, which I've got on tonight. Have you got powder liner on, Justine?
Put powder on underneath. I don't know how much you can see. I put sort of a dark brown powder along the lash line with an angled brush, and then I went over it actually with a sort of purple colour pencil by Urban Decay, just because then that makes it richer than if I just put the purple on, putting it over the top of the dark shadow.
So I'm just going to show you what I've got on. So I've just used my Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette, and this is my eyeliner. I have actually used some of it as eyeshadow as well, but I've used actually these two colours as eyeliner. So top and underneath. You don't have to do underneath as well, but you can if you want to. And it just tends to stay on slightly better, doesn't it? It's a slightly softer look. So if you've got palettes at home, eyeshadow palettes, use the darkest colours that are matte as an eyeliner, and a couple of brushes that you will.
So this is a big one, really, but an angled brush, and you nestle it right in to the lashes. I've probably got that the wrong way around because it's all back to front when you do it on here, but it's almost like you just do little marks with the brush rather than having to, you see on YouTube where they do the whole thing in one go. This is just about pressing this into the lash line. And I think as you get older, it is nice to keep things soft rather than having a harsh line. So, and that's a brilliant tip, really, because you can use whatever eyeshadow palettes you've already got and play around with different colours.
Yeah, experiment with different colours, but have a go at that. And just like Justine says, just push it into the lashes. And most people do find that actually a lot easier than trying to apply eyeliner with a pen or a kohl pencil, something like that. So it's something that we love to always tell you to have a go at. It does take a little bit of practice, so forgive yourself if you don't get it perfect the first time. Have a play around, have a practice, but just making sure you get it into the actual lashes rather than trying to draw a line on the eyelid should help.
And if you go wrong, you can just use a cotton bud to take it away, which is brilliant, because sometimes if you use a gel liner or something like that, then it's quite difficult to remove. And if you've already done your eye makeup, then you're not going to be very impressed by that. So good luck. Let us know how you get on with those little tips. I did miss a question. I'm awfully sorry about that. Is it Sarah or Sarah? Sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly. Can you recommend a good concealer that has a green base? You would normally get that in a palette of different colours that might have green in. Dior used to do a range of concealers that were different colours. One was green, one was mauve. or lilac, which would take down any sallowness in the skin. Have you got Leanne?
I'm just going to pick out a couple to show you in my kit. But yeah, you can. This isn't a high street one. If I can find it, because I've got so many concealers in here. It's a Zao, which is ZAO, which is an organic range that you can get online, and it's a concealer stick. But it's actually a green product. I will find it in a moment. But another colour you can use is yellow.
Yeah.
For counteracting as well as green, so it does the same sort of effect. It really tones down any sort of pinky purpliness in the skin. So this is a MAC Pro Conceal and Correct, but you can buy these separately as well. But yellow is as good as green, but I will hopefully find my green concealer. But you have to go, they have to be covered though. So with the primer, no, we've still got the green screen thing going. Whereas with the primer, you can wear it on its own. With the concealer, you have to apply skin colour over the top, because you're going to see it. It's a thicker consistency, but just use the tiniest amount, because you don't want it too thick and you don't want it to look obvious. So just build it up in really light layers.
Yeah. Right. So nice to see you. So Amy, I just want to touch. You need to invest in more expensive stuff. I think it's when you've got a makeup budget, I would always say spend the most amount on your base products, so your foundation, primers if you need it, because then you can go with some of the other things like mascaras, eyeliners, even some eyeshadow kits. Like we quite like, what is the range they do? A Revolution, isn't it? They do good shadows at a really good price point. So I think it's just about knowing where to spend your money. And when we're able to go back to the shops and be colour matched, I would always recommend to go and get colour matched from a makeup counter, get a sample to try at home, because that way you'll get it exactly right, and they'll be able to ask you about your skin type and how long you want it to last, what sort of finish you want, whether you want it matte or dewy. So it's really worth investing money in that, and you might find that you need less of that than you would with some of the cheaper brands. So
yeah, Revolution are really good. They're a really good pro range. High street, aren't they? Morph one, it's off the high street. So Morph, they're well known for their brushes, but also their eyeshadow palettes. Very, very pigmented and brilliant value for the money. So they're probably the best kind of cheaper ranges, aren't they? That you can
just buy them from websites like Cult Beauty or Beauty Bay or Morph directly, that kind of thing, because there are a lot of fake eye palettes and things like that around, and they look. We've done. You did a video on it, didn't you? Where they're so good at these copies. They look amazing, but then when you go into the eyeshadows, there's no pigment to them. They're just probably made of talc or some coloured talc. So,
I'd be really wary. Yeah, I'd be really wary about buying on Amazon. Amazon's kind of a last resort to me to buy makeup products, because you're never 100% sure. You can obviously get genuine products on Amazon and eBay as well. They would be my absolute last resort. It is getting better on Amazon, but I'd still go direct to the the retailer, or like Justine said, there's quite a few online beauty stores. Fantastic, Beauty Bay, Cult Beauty, that you can get all your products from, and you can guarantee that they're 100% the real thing.
It's also expiry dates, isn't it? I think sometimes things are sold on Amazon or eBay because they're very close to their expiry date, especially in terms of liquid formulations, which do have a limited life.
Yeah.
Right, so Sharon's asking, now we're all working on Zoom and Teams, any tips for looking fabulous online? No, this is a question that comes up a lot, isn't it, Leanne? And we did a session on this a while ago, because I think it's really important. It's also really important where you are, where you're sitting, because if you have your the light behind you, the light behind you is actually really distracting, I think, for people when you're talking to them. You've probably already noticed this where you've been speaking to people when they're working from home, that where they have the light behind them, it makes them look very dark. You can't really see or make out their features at all, really. So it's always good to have the light in front of you where possible. So that's one big thing without even talking about makeup. But I think you need a little bit more of colour to your face. So I feel like I look really pale this evening, especially next to lovely tan Leanne. And I probably could have done with putting a bit more blush and bronzer on, because it can make you look a bit washed out, can't it, when you're on these things?
You do need. Yeah, I've got quite bright lights in front of me, Sharon, and only because it's the evening and the light isn't as good. Obviously in the day, if the light's brighter, sit in front of the window, facing the window if you can, like Justine said, just to throw the light on your face. But I've actually got a lot more makeup on than I would wear, and it, on camera it looks sort of quite natural, fairly natural, but it's actually a lot more makeup than I would wear during the day. So like Justine says, add a bit more colour to your complexion, because you'll be surprised. And also take photographs of yourself. If it looks good on your photographs, then it's probably going to look good on your Zoom and Teams videos, lives, or whatever you're doing. So that's a good way to gauge, how you're going to look, is to take photographs of yourself or do a little video. I know we hate doing photos and videos of ourselves, but do a little video, see how your makeup looks in the video and photo, and then gauge by that, really. And if you need to add a bit more definition, a bit more colour to your cheek.
Definition on the eyes, I think, and the lips as well. That really helps, doesn't it? I bet at the beginning of lockdown, people were a lot more concerned about having a full face of makeup on than they were by the time we got to the end of lockdown. They probably just could barely get out their dressing gown by then, because they were just so. But
I heard
that's
yeah, we were all like that. Yeah, let's know. Are you all wearing more makeup again? Are you going out? Are you kind of back into your makeup again, or has it not changed that much? What are you kind of doing? I'm definitely, as I'm going out more, I'm definitely wearing more makeup again. I quite liked actually having a little bit of a break, but someone did tell me in lockdown that a lot of French women would wear just a bright lipstick for Zoom and video, just because it just instantly, kind of brightens the face. So
I think quickest change, isn't it? Just by adding that bright lip, or just instantly transforms the makeup and makes you look better. But I did have quite a break from makeup at the beginning, because my skin had got so bad that it was really good to have a bit of a break. And now I've started wearing more, because I've been playing around with makeup more, getting back to being creative again. And then now I've got like some nice hormonal spots. So that's been nice.
Oh,
I know, the things we have to put up with. That's, maybe you can solve my beauty dilemma with my hormonal spots. But Sharon, haven't been out yet. No, well, by the time we do, which will be very soon, then we'll have a full face of makeup on, very glam. Perry's asking a question. Of course you can ask a skincare question. Fire away.
Right. We love a bit of skincare as well.
Well, that is the key to everything, isn't it? If you look after your skin and your skin looks good, then you don't need to put as much makeup on or foundation, because you want to show off your lovely skin. So, oh, bless you. That's really important.
The better your skin, or the better you look after your skin. I know it's difficult because people do have different skin problems and issues. The easier your makeup is, so start with the skin. It's always the place to, and it will just make makeup so much easier and give you so many more choices of products to wear as well.
I think it's using the right skincare for your skin type. Once you're more aware of what your skin type is, then you'll find it easier to choose foundations and things like that, because you'll know whether you're looking for something that might be slightly more mattifying if you've got oily skin, or more hydrating and dewy if you've got drier skin. So Perry's using a new range which she loves. I just need something extra and been told about acid. Any recommendations?
Is it the salicylic acid that's good for for breaking down acne and lumps in there? There are different acids for different skin issues, aren't there?
Yeah, I think acids sound really scary, don't they? But actually, all they are ways, they're kind of exfoliants. You get all different sorts, but rather than a traditional scrub, they work at a deeper level because as they're an acid, then they will penetrate the layers of skin, and so they're supposed to be quite effective. So I love Paula's Choice, which people may not have heard of, but they're online, and they really suit my skin type, which is combination. And I use something, it's called BHA. Oh, beta. Oh, I must find out. I'll find out and put it in the link. But that I literally just put it down the centre of my face because it will keep that area where I have more enlarged pores. It will keep those clearer, and it kind of keeps the top layer of dead cells at bay or removes them. So I never really use a face scrub. I just use those sorts of products. And when I had really bad skin earlier on in the year, I used one of the acids. It was a different one that was recommended to me, and that made a huge difference. So yeah, salicylic. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks Debbie, for confirming that. I thought it was the salicylic acid.
But they're so aren't they?
There's so many different types, and don't be, if they are available on the market, I mean, I wouldn't use ones that say for professional use only, because they need to be applied by professional beauty therapists and consultants.
Yeah.
But if they're available on the high street, then they'll be absolutely fine. Don't be too scared about using acids, but build it up slowly. Don't use it every day. Perhaps just use it once, twice a week at the most to start with, and see how your skin reacts to it. So just go easy with it.
So I think because you've already got that, you've said you're using a new range, which you love, and I think maybe you've been using that for a little while, so your skin's used to it. So it's okay to introduce one more product, just once or twice a week, like Leanne had said, because you already know that your skin's okay with what you're already using. I think sometimes, like what I've done is I've bought the whole range of new products and used everything at once, and it can overload your skin and you don't really know which products reacting. But with something like that, it's so simple, that like salicylic acids and things, I just put it on a cotton pad and just wipe it over, and it's as simple as that. But I can put some links in. I would say The Ordinary do things like that, and they're very, very reasonable. I've not used those, but I use the Garden of Wisdom, which is still probably about £10 per acid. But
that sounds nice. The Garden of Wisdom.
Yeah,
I like that.
Health website. I've got a few of them, and they're just really lovely. They do like hyaluronic acid as well, which is actually something that we produce anyway in our skin, and as we get older we don't produce as much of it, but it's very hydrating, so it goes on like a serum and you put that under your moisturizer. But yeah, niacinamide is another one. So yeah, Garden of Wisdom, and it's just so reasonable, tiny bit, goes a long way, and you can get really good results from that. But just try one at a time. I'll have a look at that for you, Perry. Because
Debbie said thanks for that contribution, Debbie. And you didn't stop wearing makeup throughout lockdown. Wow, well done you. And yeah, it does kind of keep you sane, doesn't it? It feels a bit more normal.
Definitely.
If you wear makeup every day, it just make you feel a bit more normal to wear it. So well done you. I'm really impressed.
I just got to the stage where if I was doing a Zoom with friends or family, then I would, have a hair wash, put my face on. And it was actually really nice to sort of get a bit dressed up just to see people on Zoom. So now we'll be going out into the real world again. So I have to make more of an effort more of the time, I suppose. If there are any more questions coming through, because otherwise we've got some that we can look at. Someone did ask today, when we were talking about eye primers, they asked for a reasonably priced eye primer, and I suggested maybe the NYX one.
I like this one.
I haven't tried that.
I really like this. This is quite a recent, I've been using it for a few months now. So this is the Morph eyelid primer, and it's a translucent, so it have a colour to it. I think that's a really good price compared to even the MAC one. I don't
£15, isn't it?
Yeah, this is really, really good. It feels really lightweight as well, so it's good for everyone, all ages, all skin types. But again, it's not over on the high street.
The thing is, I've tried a number of eye primers. I have tried some of the cheaper ones. And for me, because my eyelids do seem to be super oily, they just were too slippy for me. But for someone else, they might be fine if their eyelids aren't as oily. So that's why I've stuck to MAC, because I know it works, and I've wasted money on the cheaper brands. But, you know, if it works for you, then that's brilliant. So, yeah.
These are tiny little tubes, but this should last a long time. You're not putting it on. You're just putting a tiny, tiny amount. So this would last you. I mean, would last me. Oh God, I don't know, about 9 to 12 months, maybe.
Yeah.
So you're not spending a fortune because it's going to last a long time.
And sometimes when you put the primers on, they really do enhance the pigment of the colours that you're using. Sometimes if you just put a shadow onto your lid, you don't get the colour payoff that you might expect from it. So that's another reason why they're brilliant to use. So, right, okay. Shall I fire away with one of the questions that we got?
Yeah, go for it.
So she wants to know more about applying eye makeup for over 50s to lift the eye. This is really, really popular question. I'd say most questions that we get are on eyes, aren't they? Applying eyeshadow.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So this is something, I'm 48, so I've definitely noticed my eyes becoming more hooded, which is where they start coming down like this, whereas they probably were up like that years ago when they start hooding like that. But did you like that?
See, I don't see that on you at all. I can't see any. I mean, I've got this one. This eye actually comes down more than the other eye. So
everyone has that, don't they? But I suppose I notice it because of how I used to be able to do my eyeliner flicks. And then all of a sudden you do the same flick like you would have done before, and half of it disappears into the crease, and then you just adapt it. And the one thing that I really like to do is to get a mid-matte shade. Let me get an example. It's always good to have eyeshadows that have got like a palette that's got a mixture of matte shades and shimmer shades. But yeah, so you need a matte shade. Let's see if I've got one in here.
Don't go too glittery, too shimmery as you get older. I think a little bit of a sheen is nice, but not glitter.
No. So this, I would say, is a mid matte tone. So you want it to be darker than your natural skin tone. Bronzer is ideal for this if you've got like a matte bronzer that you'd use. And I've got a fluffy brush. That is by Real Technique. So it's a base shadow brush. But I think these fit, sorry, I'm back to front here, quite nice in the socket. Can you see the brush does all the work? And by adding that shade here, it gives the illusion that I have more of a contoured eye than I possibly do. So people that have quite hooded eyes, it is good to put a shadow like that on the hood of the eye to make it look like they've got more of a socket line. So that's a tip, I think, as we're getting older, to keep that definition there.
So, yeah, so you might have to go slightly higher, so just up onto the brow bone. But if you don't go too dark with the shade of eyeshadow, like Justine's shown, I'm using, this is actually a blusher by MAC, but it's my kind of base pocket and eyeshadow shade. So this is Warm Soul.
I think Amy might like that because of saying where she's got redness in the cheeks. We were saying maybe just use bronzer, but that can sort of be a little bit of a mix between bronze and blush, can't it? It's a lovely shade.
Yeah, this is brilliant. If you do have, for everything, the whole face, for eyes, for blusher. Now I love this Warm Soul by MAC. So it just takes away that pinkiness. But yeah, I do, like Justine's just showed you, this is my base kind of socket colour. So this one, because this eyelid drops more than the other side, I have to overemphasize and go slightly higher the brow bone to balance the two eyes out so that they look, when someone's looking at me, they look a bit more even. So I go slightly higher with the type of brush that Justine used. And if you just use a mid shade, like Justine and I've shown you, it's not too scary. It's only when you go for the darker shades that it can be a bit difficult, it can be a bit scary to do. So just keep them, look at the palette, see what products you've got, and just go for something like bronzer or just a mid kind of shade, not too dark. because then it gets a little bit tricky and you need to blend it out really well.
These are quite cool colours here, but these sorts of shades are even lighter, so you can use that sort of shade to practice with and then go in with something slightly darker. But the other tip is when I'm doing this on myself, I find that if I just did it with my eyes closed, then when I open my eye, it might just disappear into that socket. So by looking directly into the mirror, I can see how far I can blend up, because I want the shadow to show up above my my eye. So by doing that, I can see how far up I can blend, because that's what I used to find. I'd spend time doing all this work on my eyelids, and then when I opened my eyes, it just all disappeared. So it's just adapting, isn't it? It doesn't have to be massive changes, but
no. Experiment with different brushes, whatever brushes you've got at home. Experiment with different shapes and different size brushes, because sometimes it's not you, it's the brush.
Definitely.
You'll find one brush just works. It'll just be easier to do. So have a little play around with what you've got, or just, if you haven't got a lot of brushes, perhaps invest in something that's not too expensive. Get a few different eyeshadow brushes, like Justine showed you, that aren't too expensive, and have a play around, see what you like using, because you'll definitely find some easier than others.
I think that's so important, because years ago I just used to pick up any old brush, the one that was the cleanest out of all these are personal brushes, because obviously all my professional brushes are immaculate, but my own personal ones, I just pick up whatever one, not realising that they each had a different job. So with this, because it's quite fluffy and it sits beautifully in that crease, if I was to apply shadow on the lid, it would take me a lot longer to build up the colour that I wanted, because it's so fluffy. So if I was doing something on the lid, I'd want something that is flatter and the bristles are closer together, so that you can really load the product on. So it's things like that. And it's quite simple. Once you know the jobs that they do most of the work for you.
That's what they're there for, isn't it? They're to make it easy. And if they don't, then try a different brush.
Because we have, this is just a few of my eye brushes that I use. I've got another one of these that's absolutely jam-packed. But I'll find that when we're working on jobs, we still have our favourites. And even though we might have another 50 brushes to choose from, it will be one of the ones we've already used that we want to use again. So,
because we get a quick and easy result, we know it works. And it's just quick and easy for us to do that. So have a little experiment and a play around, and don't be afraid to have a play around. I think that's a really important thing.
I think when you've got time to do it, because the trouble is we're all so time poor, aren't we? I just leave it to the last minute to get ready, and therefore I end up doing the same thing because I know how long it takes me. But actually, if I allowed myself extra time, I might be able to look through the palettes that I've got, choose something slightly different. So it's nice to give yourself the extra time and not try out different looks when you're in a rush, especially eyeliner, because that's when it's going to go wrong. But
don't put pressure on yourself.
So the other tip I was going to say is on the lid, if you find that the skin starts to go more crepey, then you probably want to steer clear of more shimmery shades, because that can really highlight the change in texture of your eyelids, and that's when matte eyeshadows can be really beautiful.
I've just used though something quite easy. If you struggle with brushes, I've got Charlotte Tilbury. It's her Eyes to Mesmerize, so it's a cream color. Can you see that in rose gold? So I've just put that from my eyelid, from the lash line up to the socket line, and I've just used my ring finger just to pat it in, and it's really easy to do. And if you've got it might be okay on its own, but if you put your eyelid primer on underneath, it's not going to go anywhere. So these are lovely things, and especially if going out in the evening, just to get that little bit of, just a little bit something extra, something different than you maybe wear in the day.
See, I've got really nice similar on today. This colour, which is more of a creamy goldy colour, which was a pot, which is like a cream consistency, isn't it? But it's not like the old-fashioned cream shadows that used to slip everywhere. These ones go on beautifully. You can apply them with your ring finger, and then once they set, they set. But I like to put a bit of powder on mine as well, because I just like to put as much on as possible. on my eyelids.
They are. A lot of them are cream to powder, aren't they? But they're much better, like Justine says, they're much better formulas, and they stay on much better. And they're all designed there to make it as easy as possible for you.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be complicated, does it? Sometimes just one new product, like something like that, can be a game changer, really, and it really give you confidence to feel like you can apply your makeup and it looks good, even though it only took a few minutes. So
definitely. Just one other thing I was going to say for kind of over 50s, perhaps over 40s, is keeping that. You'll notice with Justine and I, we haven't gone too dark with the eyeshadow colours, and we've used a little bit of darkness at the outer corner, but we've used more of our eyeliner to give the eyes a bit more definition. So be cautious about, if you can still do a little bit of a smoky eye, but just keep the smokiness to the outer corner, and then it gives that lovely almond shape to the eye. So don't be going too heavy, don't bring the darkness too far in, or just keep the colors fairly light and use your eyeliner to give that definition, and you'll just find it a lot easier, and it will brighten up, it'll open up the eye, making them look a lot bigger. And
I think that's another thing. Sometimes people find their eyes seem to get smaller as they get older, probably just because where things start drooping a little bit. So maybe if you've always worn eyeliner in the waterline, for example, that can really close your eyes in. So you might want to think about not doing that and doing what we've done, where we just put a little bit of powder under the eyes, because that does give the illusion of bigger eyes as well, because you've got the definition here rather than inside the eye. So I think that's, eyeliner might need
behind glasses as well. So without eyeliner, my eyes look pretty insignificant, and they become a bit invisible behind my glasses. So eyeliner always gives me the confidence that my eyes are still really visible behind my glasses. So
that was a question that someone asked, wasn't it, about makeup for glass wearers? And I find this quite universal, is it? Because I think the glasses you've got are probably to help you read, maybe. So they will make your eyes look bigger, whereas where I had distance glasses, they would make my eyes smaller. That can make a difference. But I don't really know.
True.
What do you think about how you would change someone's makeup if they were wearing glasses?
I think you do need just more definition. That your eyes, with eyeliner and mascara, so that your eyes don't get lost behind them. So, and sometimes you might want to do the concealer underneath. So use a little bit just to make sure it's nice and clean and bright underneath the eye as well. So, and that helps with, I've got quite dark circles, so I rely on my under eye concealer, and it just makes my eyes look more wide awake. And even if I'm not feeling wide awake, it gives that impression.
It's all an illusion, isn't it, really? So hi Vicky, nice, you're out cycling. Well, that's a good thing to do. We just covered your question, Netta, about what was it about eye makeup for over 50s. So I can chat to you about that, or you can watch it back. There are a few little tips in there. So that was good. Yeah, so we were just talking about when you wear glasses and how you can adapt your eye makeup for that. I don't really do a lot different, to be honest, whether I'm wearing glasses or not, because I'm stuck in my little makeup rut sometimes. But I think
to be fair, I'm the same.
Yeah, so I think people feel like they've got to change it up, but you don't necessarily have to. It's just if you've got.
But again, take photos.
Sorry?
Do you think take photos of yourself?
That's definitely a good idea to do, because, as I say, look, because your glasses make your eyes look bigger, then it may highlight any imperfections or where you've gone a bit wrong. So then you might just need to pay more attention to that, perhaps. But I don't really think it makes much difference either way, unless you're worried about your glasses, which is a nice.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, I don't have that. My lashes aren't particularly long. I always say this. I always complain about this. But yeah, Justine's got beautiful long lashes. They're lovely, and I would love those. But but yeah, so I don't have problem, but I know some people have that problem with the lashes, you know, sort of not sticking, but just
in the glass.
clashing with glass.
Yeah, definitely. Right, we've got 5 more minutes. So if you've got any questions, please fire away. If not, we'll go back to our little list of certain things that people were interested in knowing from the competitions that we were running.
I was just going to say, Michelle had asked about patchy skin.
Yeah.
Which it does depend what kind of skin type you've got. So most people do have a kind of combination. So they've got slightly oilier in the T-zone, this area here. But one way to, probably the most important way of avoiding patchy skin is regular exfoliation, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Products. So you know, because that's, if you've got if your skin's not in the best possible condition, then your makeup can go patchy. You know,
so it, can't it? Because we've done that with on weddings before, where we would always prep someone's face and put moisturizer on, and you go to put the foundation on, and it will grab, or any patchy dry areas will grab that foundation, even though the skin didn't look dry at all. And I found that when my skin was bad and I had some dry patches, which I've never experienced before, there were certain foundations in my personal kit that it's almost like they just get sucked up by that dry patch and really highlight it. But some other formulas were okay, and I think the formulas that were okay were the ones that were more hydrating. It's probably like the longer wear formulas or the oil-free formulas that are likely to grab to there. So it's about finding the right foundation for you and using the right skincare and exfoliation. So
exfoliation, exfoliation, yes, is key. But also primers, as we talked about primers. Primers can help with sort of evening out the skin tone, so even out any dry patches and things. So primers are really good for that. But I'd always start with skincare. Try and get your skincare good.
Better. That's always going to be better. We obviously, when we go to weddings, we may not have worked with some of the ladies on the bridal party, so we use primers, because if there are any skin issues, then we can fix them quite quickly just for the day, for the makeup to look good. But really, on a long-term basis, you want to look at fixing the underlying issue. Netta's saying, I never know if I should put eyeshadow on the top part of my eye, just under the eyebrow. Should you put a light or natural colour? So, yeah, we used to put highlight. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, that's brilliant, isn't it? Under the eyebrow, we used to always put highlight there, didn't we? In the 80s, we used to put all like highlight. I've got
highlight on.
Only a little bit. I can't think what one I used. It wasn't. If I do it, I tend to only just do it here, just to lift the eye, really, rather than all the way across, because that can look dated on some people. But if I didn't put any highlighter there, I would definitely go over that area with a light neutral shade, because it makes that quite clean. Have you got a shade there that would be?
Yeah. This one. Oh, we've got the green screen thing going on. So you can see the top. A really quite pale. You can't see the actual colour. Can you see that colour? This one here. No.
Yes. Yeah. It's almost like
so
skin tone, isn't it? But it's a matte shade.
Yeah. So I'm going to actually do this while you're watching. So I'm just going to brush. So yeah, I'm going to get this one here. This is matte, so I never like white.
No.
I think it's a bit dated. I think an ivory or cream, maybe a champagne, just look a little bit softer. Obviously, you can go like have a little bit of a sheen, but nothing too glitzy, nothing too shimmery either. I just think it looks better, sort of slightly softer. So I'm just going to get a little bit on my brush, and I'm just going to because I haven't got my glasses on, but I'm just going to apply. Actually,
you might want to do it in the in your mirror.
This is my 7 times magnifying mirror, because I can't do my eyes without my glasses on, and obviously, like most of us, the glasses are in the way. So I've got my 7 times magnifying mirror just to do my eyes. So yeah, I'm just going to place just press a little bit of that colour just under the arch, and I'm just going to just blend that a little bit with my finger, so you can just see the difference now,
doesn't it? I hope you guys can see that at home as well. And
it does lift
to do, isn't it? So quick.
Yeah, I don't like it under here, so I don't bring it all the way. I just do it under the arch, and when I'm working as well, just under the arch. I don't actually like it on me, weirdly. I just think it's really uncomfortable with it.
But I think I love to see how it lifts, and also when you've done the rest of your eye makeup and you've done the crease, it's quite nice to put something at the top, even if it's a neutral shade that doesn't really show. It just cleans it all up and makes it look really polished. So yeah, that would be a good idea.
And if you've also, it does actually emphasize the brow as well. So we are a lot about brows these days. So providing you've got good brows or you've had good brows done, mine are definitely needing threading at the moment, as probably everybody's are, or waxing, but it will highlight the brow shape as well. So just bear in mind that if you're happy to highlight the brow, if you don't want to highlight your brow, or you're not happy with your brow shape, don't put that highlighter there, because it will just draw attention to it. Like any highlight products, it will. Because what the eye naturally does, I don't get too techie here, but what the eye naturally does, it does first see the brighter, whiter areas. If you're looking at anything, a table of products or whatever, the face, it's naturally drawn to the lighter areas first. So that's what highlight does, where you're putting it on the cheeks, on the nose, eye, wherever, you'll notice that first. So yeah, just make sure you're happy to highlight that area of your face before you actually put it on.
Because the younger girls, they can put it all here, can't they? Down the nose, they have the little ball bit at the end. But I would never put it down the nose, because I have open pores on the nose, so that would just highlight that I've got those. And if you've got any fine lines around here, you just want to keep the highlights sort of on the top of the cheek here and not go too close to the eye, because it will just highlight any lines you've got there. But
if you're, for like teenagers and youngsters, they can kind of use whatever products they like. But if you are, over 40s, over 50s, over 60s, just use a slightly softer colour. So it's not quite as bright, not quite as white. It's a much more soft. So champagne colours are really nice, because they just look a little bit softer.
I must say. So there's so much that we can do with makeup just to help us, feel the best that we can, just to make the best of ourselves. And even if we feel like we're aging, makeup can just still make us look and feel just as beautiful as ever. So it's just knowing what to do, and just small little tiny adaptations can make a huge difference. So I think we'll wrap it up there, because we're over time now. Thanks to everyone that has asked comments. That's really lovely to be able to answer those and see what your concerns are, because a lot of what you've said, everything that's been raised tonight are questions that we get asked a lot, and also things that we experience ourselves. So I'll definitely talk to you about the hooded eye, Netta, if you don't manage to catch up on this live, because we did show some techniques for that. But if you have any other questions, you can always message the page as well. We always love to hear from you.
Yeah. So yeah, join us every Monday for our Makeup Monday video. It's not always a video, but most of the time it is. So we've always got tips on there, and all our videos are on our YouTube channel as well. But we'd love to know, do you want us to keep doing? We love doing the lives, and we love your questions. So do you want us to keep doing them? We'd love to, if you want us to. So let us know about that as well.
Yeah, lovely, because we want to do this. You want this community where we can all share information and find out what the issues are that you have, because so many of them are just really easily rectified. Thanks so much. Thanks for putting your names up and saying hello and everything, Nikki. Lovely to see you and answer your questions as well. It's one of my brides, so that's really lovely. And we'll enjoy practicing with makeup. So have a lovely evening. I'm going to finish my wine. This is probably the longest that a glass of wine has ever lasted me. So cheers to you all. And
cheers.
Yeah, hopefully do another one soon.
Have a
Bye.
lovely evening. Thanks for joining
Yeah,
us.
lovely. Bye.
Bye. Bye.